And we're back on.
Hey everybody, I'm Lex from PDQ.com.
I'm Taylor from SimpleMDM.
Taylor from SimpleMDM. So I was going to say, you're a nerd amongst nerds?
I go into the nerdom.
Actually,
I do.
You're a Mac guy, so you're the cool kid amongst the nerds, apparently.
I don't know. I mean, it's all the same, right?
So SimpleMDM, tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about SimpleMDM.
Yeah, so my background, originally went to school for engineering. Had a series of companies, but SimpleMDM started in probably 2012 about. And the idea was that MDM at the time for the Apple space was really reserved for enterprise software. It was
big companies?
Yep. You're buying, racks of equipment, you're, getting an annual license and you're installing it in your own office. And it was functionality that a lot of SMBs could use, but just wasn't available. It wasn't accessible. So our thought was, why don't we just make it like Gmail or something? This should be a web app. You should be able to sign up in a couple of minutes without talking to a salesperson, try out the product, see if you like it.
Like easy to drive kind of?
Totally.
Okay.
So like my background is, I like technical problems and solving them. So if I'm looking at products, I would like to just be able to sign in, click around, see if it works, and be done with it. I don't want to do the whole schedule a meeting in 3 days and see a demo and all that. So that was really the philosophy.
Just basically get on and play, and so people can actually do a demo of this and bring it and play and try it.
30 days, you sign up in a couple of minutes, no credit card required, and if you like it, that account becomes your account. It's just like any sort of modern SaaS software would work, just kind of a foreign concept for a lot of enterprise software.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. At PDQ, we do deployments, and you are the newest member of the PDQ family now, which is awesome. I mean,
I'm the baby.
Like a better together kind of a thing. Obviously, we do the Windows, and you take care of the Mac, and that side of life. So, can you show us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We've got the interface up here, the demo account. We have a few devices in, and just before we dive in, I'll say that there's probably 4 areas of functionality from a top level to look at here. MDM is a Swiss Army knife of functionality. And there may be, let's say there's 100 different features. Each organization is going to use maybe 5, 10, 20 features. But they're going to be different. So it's really about understanding what the tool can do, how it applies to your particular application.
Okay, so it would be a little bit different, say, like education, right? They've got some Windows and they've got some Mac. I've noticed a lot of point of sale. They're using like
Exactly.
iPads and that kind of thing. So depending on what you're doing, this can manage both those.
Yep. Yeah, we see that there's kind of this division between line of business applications where maybe a company's using iPads as some sort of appliance. It's a cash register, or it's for someone out in the field to use for recording assets or something like that. And then on the other side, we see companies where they have information workers that have MacBook Pros, something to that extent, that just need to make sure that those devices are secure. So very different use cases, same tool handles both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
Yeah, so at a high level, those 4 areas are, inventory data, getting an idea of what's in your fleet, how outdated is it, just understand maybe its location, anything like that, IP addresses.
How easy is it to get a machine on?
It's pretty easy, and it depends. There's a lot of different ways to get it on. So one way is that, and the most automated way is you buy a new device from Apple or Verizon if you have like a business account with them, or a number of other sources, CDW. I mean, the list goes on. And your employee unboxes it, turns it on for the first time, and right at that front thing, it'll say SimpleMDM powered by PDQ, enroll, and you click OK.
Okay.
And then by the time they've gone through the setup wizard, all their software is downloaded, all their configurations are downloaded. You've got inventory data. You can run scripts on it.
Okay, if I'm hearing this right, you can, like I said, this is pre-set up, so an employee, when they sign in, it's just going to take
No
care
touch.
of it.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
No
Okay.
touch. So yeah, Apple has some really great programs called Apple Business Manager and Apple School Manager. When you buy devices, they automatically get imported to SimpleMDM. When they power on the first time, they know to contact us, and you're up and going.
Okay. So just got to get enrolled at that point.
Yep.
Okay.
And if you've got devices you've had for a while, you can send an email or a text message, and your employees can click it and enroll, and you can enroll that way too. So there's a lot of different options, and there should be, because where your business is at can be complicated.
Now, just before we show, bring your own device. I mean, I'm assuming obviously you have control of that. If someone brings their own device, there are different levels of control.
Yeah, and that's something that I take for granted from being in this space for so long. But a common question is, well, hang on a second. Like I don't, I'm bringing my own phone and I want access to company email and Wi-Fi and some certificates and whatever else. But can they read my email? Can they see where I'm going? And the Apple security model, like how SimpleMDM works, is dictated by the Apple security model. And they've spent a lot of time thinking about what's appropriate and what's not from a privacy point of view. So in a BYOD situation, it's really pretty limited where if you're the SimpleMDM admin, you know that a device enrolled, you don't know its serial number, you don't really know anything, but you can provide functionality. You can say, here's an email address, here's Wi-Fi. For a corporate-owned device situation, you get more control. You can serial number, you can track location for like an iPad.
Can you wipe it if you lose it?
You can wipe it. You can really lock it down and limit what it can be used for. So a lot of our customers for maybe a trade show will say, we want this one app to run, only this one app. Don't let them exit the app unless we say otherwise. So there can be very different kind of levels of control of the device.
Show me how to set this up. I'm kind of excited.
Sure. So in this interface here, we already have a few devices enrolled, and it looks like most of them have checked in recently. Mac Minis, iPads, MacBooks, they all have similar control within SimpleMDM. You're not partitioned by, here's the Mac world and here's the iOS world. So we'll click into one of these just to get an idea of inventory. Let's look at this iPad. And you can see right now, we've done some location tracking, and it's a little noisy looking, but it's basically been at the office dancing around between floors. Normally, this will be a little more spread out. You can get a good idea of where it's traveled.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is great for like delivery services and things like that.
Okay.
Basic inventory data you'd expect. Looks like there's an OS update that you could install, and this can be a forceful install. Maybe you have 100 iPads in a cart, and you say, hey, we got to update all these OSs now.
If we were to click that now, it would go now?
In this case right here, it would go now.
So like full contact IT, it would interrupt what's going on?
Yep, it's let's get this done.
Okay.
Yep. Now, there's also policies where you can say, we'd like this OS to not get further back than 60 days from whatever the most recent OS is. And we'd like to give the user a few options to like defer the upgrade. So
you can be nice and not interrupt their work.
Yep. And again, that's really about like, is this a line of business thing? The shop's closed for the night. You're trying to upgrade everything right now.
I just look at it as a control thing. I just like to, remind people who is really in control of their stuff.
I appreciate that about you. And I say that because I know you're in control. So yeah, basic inventory data. It can get very granular. You can get the activation lock bypass code. Employee leaves, you need to get into a device, you can do that. And you, of course, get all sorts of inventory data, what's been installed. Looks like just the SimpleMDM app, push PDFs, so on and so forth. Another exciting area of this is that the action space. And this is both for Mac OS and iOS, but if you need to enable loss mode, but you don't want to deal with Apple IDs, you can do that. Wiping a device if it's been stolen, locking it. You have some pretty good functionality that you would want if you owned a device.
Okay.
Now, again, if it's BYOD, it's going to be a little more limited. You're not going to be wiping someone's device because it's not yours.
Yeah. So you could just shut off their work email.
Yep.
Oh, fair enough.
You can take away anything you've given, but you can't take away things that they've set up or even see what they have set up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's say I needed to get Chrome out. I mean, I'm thinking, I've been doing PDQ deploy. I need to get Chrome out to my machines. How do you do that?
So for Mac OS?
Yeah, well, yeah.
So there's a few different options. And let me jump into the apps and media section here. So the catalog is an area that the admin pulls in all the different sorts of apps that they might want deployed to Mac OS or iOS. Those apps can be from a variety of sources. It can be from the Apple App Store. It could be something that was built in Xcode that's uploaded.
So customs.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Custom code, something you're doing internally. We also support deploying apps through Monkey on Mac OS. And if you're an IT admin in the Mac OS space, then you know that Monkey's
Monkey's
kind of
like
the gold standard.
Self-service portal.
Exactly.
We
It's a
should definitely do
self-source-
something on that later. I mean, it's a little beyond what we're doing today.
I agree. It's an awesome application. It's an awesome open source solution that the community's come together to put. And what we realized is that anyone that was using any MDM out there, even if the MDM had a solution, they eventually would implement Monkey themselves. So we said, why don't we just implement that in a really secure fashion?
Nice.
So without going into that too much, I'm very passionate about Monkey, as you can tell. Monkey is a great way to deploy applications to Mac OS that maybe it's not something you created, though it could be. It could be commercial, but it's not necessarily in the App Store either.
Okay.
So how that works as an IT admin is you say, okay, we've got a catalog of software that we're interested in our organization. It's both Mac OS and iOS. We can see where they're coming from. Is it an App Store thing? These shared apps are apps that SimpleMDM actually provides. So we'll provide a version of Google Drive. And then you essentially go and you say, hey, I want to assign some of these apps to a certain number of devices. So let's say, I'm just making this up. What's a good group? Let's say...
Let's do Chrome for, marketing. Yeah.
Marketing, is that a bad word around here?
No, marketing's great. I love it. Marketing.
Marketing team.
I was like picking on accounting, but...
Oh, yeah. We could do that. We got time. So in this case, I'm saying, hey, I'd like the marketing team to get Discord and Google Chrome. But hey, for some reason, our organization, maybe we have a custom plugin we're using in Google Chrome, and we need to see every time a new Google Chrome version comes out, make sure that it's compatible. Then what you can actually do is you can say, hey, I want to pin at the latest version of Google Chrome.
And it gives you time to test, make sure everything's coming up for something new. Okay.
Exactly. So, and I can change this later if I want to. And then let's send this out to, we don't have a lot of device groups here, but let's just say the default device group. So just with that, there will be a really, non-intrusive way of installing that software. I think those devices will see an update for that software within about an hour or two. They'll be asked if they want to have it installed or not. If you want to do something more forceful, you can. But the idea is don't get in the way of productivity of the user. Don't create a bad reputation for IT. But, meet the business requirements.
Meet the business requirements. I like it. I mean, I'm definitely a full contact IT guy myself, but okay.
I understand. I've heard about your snowboarding techniques, so I understand.
Pretty much the same.
And to take a step back, SimpleMDM has really been formed not by some fever dream of a product manager. It's been community focused. So a lot of the functionality we have here is from learned lessons with talking with our customers. And they've said, hey, sometimes we've got to force something. Sometimes we've got to be a little more gentle. So we have a lot of granularity when it comes to how you're going to achieve something.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's, you're building a product for a customer. It's great to have their feedback to actually be able to do that. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're lucky to be able to get that feedback.
Okay, so easily enough, this happens. Now, this will go out and the installs will happen on anybody that's in a default group. Now, how do you set up groups and stuff like that so that you can...
So let's jump into that. So groups are just a way of grouping devices together. So again, we could say marketing, let's say site A. And then let's assign a couple devices to it. Let's say, I don't know, assign these devices to that group. Now that alone hasn't really done anything yet because that group doesn't have a configuration. But let's jump into configurations for a moment. And let's say, hey, we want to create a profile. Profiles are, they're groupings of configuration. So if you look in here, you can see the different profile types. And this is a fun place to go when you're new to the product and say, what can I actually do with it?
These are pre-built.
These are pre-built. So you can say, okay, something like an email profile, that's going to work on Mac OS and iOS, no tvOS, but okay, that's interesting. Maybe I want to set up File Vault for my Mac OS devices.
Isn't that like encryption?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's sometimes called FV2. It's just encryption on the hard drive. So I'm going to say that this is going to be, let's say, let's call it standard encryption policy. Let's say that the recovery key, in case one of these devices we need to get into, let's escrow that key with SimpleMDM so we can get it later. And let's not show it to the user. Let's not bother them with that process.
Okay.
And down here, all of our profiles have a scoping feature, which is pretty cool. You can say, just to be clear, for some reason, we don't like using file vault on anything before 10.15 for our Mac OS version. Okay. They can change, so let's do that. And also, for some reason, let's say we're only doing this for new Apple Silicon devices.
Okay.
So you can get very granular if you want to. If you want to keep it simple and you're just, I always say start with the training wheels approach to config, and then start dialing it down once you feel more comfortable with the product.
That does make sense. A question for you in regards to like a best practice on encryption. I mean, in my mind, anytime you encrypt stuff, it just takes time, right? So this is something you would definitely strategically push out, I would say.
Yeah, so that's a great question, and my memory doesn't serve me here exactly, but I think on newer devices, the encryption is incredibly fast.
Oh, okay.
But on older OS versions, older devices, it may be slower. So on this screen, you'll see that there's this option for bypasses allowed at login.
Okay.
This kind of ties into the whole user feedback thing.
Okay.
We don't want our employees to hate
interrupt
IT more than
yeah.
they need to. So
Yeah.
you can say, hey, force them to encrypt at login. We have a company policy, got to be encrypted. Or give them, 3 or 5 passes before they actually have to do it. So you have some variability there that you can set. So how does that config then get applied to the group of devices? Nothing shocking here, which is how we try to design our product. It's straightforward and obvious. But you'd go into this device group that we created, and we'd find that policy that we just created, assign it, and SimpleMDM is now pushing that config out to all those devices.
So you can, easily make very simple, easy to follow profiles and then just stack them. This gets encryption, it gets an email profile, it gets a password profile.
Exactly. And maybe you have let's say a special certificate that needs to go out to just one device. You can assign profiles on a per device basis or the group basis. So you have some flexibility there.
That's way cool. We could place to take a question.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, we
As long
got
as it's a nice
questions.
question.
We got the questions?
They are coming in fast and furious. No offense to the movie franchise. Hey guys, we are running an older version of Jamf MariaDB on premises. How difficult is it to export our information to SimpleMDM, and how costly is SimpleMDM on premises and or cloud? Sincerely, Thomas the Tank Engine.
Normally I'd take this. I have no idea.
I paid Thomas $5 to send this question in.
Good job, Thomas.
So yeah, this is actually a really common question, migrating between MDMs. What's it look like? What we recommend is build up your SimpleMDM account how you want it to be. A lot of times these MDM accounts, they end up getting a little bit of cruft. There's been years of building up a certain config,
that web of
you're trying to get to point B,
yeah.
but you ended up at point C, and so this is a really good opportunity to kind of reconsider how you want to do your configuration. Build it up in SimpleMDM, put a test device on or two, make sure you're comfortable with it. Now, the migration of your devices from any MDM to our MDM can vary. It's generally easy to unenroll devices. For instance, if you're on Jamf, you can go in there and say, with a few clicks, you could say unenroll all my devices. But then they're kind of in this DMZ zone where they're not managed. So how you bring them back on is typically a manual process. You'll be visiting a link on each computer. You can send it out to your users. They click, they accept, they say, I'm comfortable with SimpleMDM taking management of this device. And you go from there. We've seen some companies do it a little more, I don't want to say pragmatically, but maybe for their situation, where they'll say, okay, we're going to keep all of our existing devices in our old MDM, and as we do a refresh, maybe we refresh devices every 3 years, the new devices will be on the new MDM. So it's really a matter of figuring out what's realistic for your business situation.
You said you can send a link out. They unenroll, you send the link out, click, they're now enrolled, and you've got management. That doesn't sound all that difficult.
It's not that difficult, but when you think about an organization with 10,000 devices, and let's say 5% of the users are not terribly technical, or maybe they're just really busy, they missed the email.
Yeah.
There can be a little bit of housekeeping that needs to be done. So we try to be realistic with our customers that, this migration is going to takes some work, but if you contact our support, we'll set up a plan with you. You know, we've seen this happen a lot, and we'll come up with a very pragmatic plan.
I love it. Second part of that question was the cost.
Yeah, so we are $250 a device, $2.50 a device a month,
Okay.
with an annual plan, and
Okay.
that's iOS or macOS. Everyone gets the same functionality, so there's not a tiered approach. You should be able to do some back of the napkin.
Once you're enrolled,
mathematics
it's
and-
like boom, you
You're
can
in.
do it. Okay.
Yep. And we also have a monthly plan. A lot of customers like to do month to month, and that's $3. Beyond that, we do have volume discounts if you're up in the thousands of devices, and we can do custom billing if you're not comfortable doing credit card for some reason, or you have AP requirements that need to go a certain way. So we're very flexible, but the default is that you sign up, try it for 30 days. If you like it, put in a credit card, and that's it.
Off to the races.
Yeah, pricing's fair and not confusing, and that's it.
It's simple to understand.
Includes support, and we get back within about 30 minutes. So we have really great support.
Excellent. Do we want to do another question?
Yeah, because we have a related question.
Oh, okay.
Actually. Gentlemen, will SimpleMDM be included within existing subscriptions, or is it a separate purchase? Thanks in advance, Joshua B.
And Joshua, I think I know the answer to this one.
Yeah,
It is.
so my understanding is
Yeah.
that we're keeping everything pretty much the same. This isn't a acquisition where customers get uprooted and everything changes overnight. So
It would be a separate subscription.
yes, yeah, it's going to be a per device subscription. I think PDQ is more of a per admin subscription, right?
That's correct.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
excellent.
So another section that's
Yeah.
that's worth talking about is scripts. This is a new feature that we added
okay.
about a month ago, which
I'm excited about this because we did the demo and saw this and talking scripts. And Jordan, Jordan, you still there, buddy?
Yeah, I just want to say PowerShell 7 can now be installed on Mac devices.
yes.
Okay, saw that coming.
We've been acting too cool over in the Mac community, but we've been begging for PowerShell 7.
Really?
Is that what it's called? PowerShell 7?
PowerShell 7. Are you just appeasing Jordan now at this point?
I'm very good. Yeah, when I saw
No
that
way.
could work, I have many ideas that I'm looking forward to testing.
I love it. I love it. Bash is still better, Jordan.
So this script feature, it's fun because SimpleMDM started as just an iOS platform.
Yeah.
And then we slowly got into macOS as Apple moved the MDM spec over to macOS. And scripts are for admins that they've got to get something done. It can't really be done with existing configurations. They just got to, they have some sort of business requirement that's very specific. So what's cool about the scripts feature is that other MDMs have it, but they require that an agent is installed on each device.
Okay.
And for us, we're just using the native MDM agent that already exists in the OS. So you can push a script down. The user doesn't have to accept some sort of software install. And what's
Well, let me just I had to pause you because I love
get excited.
scripts. I love scripts. I just know agent K around here. So there's no agent to install, but they can. This is all remote. It is
Yep.
done through the cloud. So as long as they've got an internet connection anywhere in the world, SimpleMDM is going to be able to take care of your
totally so
machines. Okay.
that's a great point. I think agent means has a lot of different underpinnings in different
Yeah.
communities. So for us, macOS has a built-in MDM agent on and iOS for that matter, and you can use it over the internet. Basically, as long as you have internet, everything works great. It doesn't matter where you're at.
internet or Wi-Fi, obviously, but yeah, internet.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, the old way of managing macOS devices was to install software that would do all this stuff
Manage that,
instead of
yeah.
using the software that macOS has implemented in it now. So in the macOS community, agentless is generally either people don't care or it's a good thing because it's a more secure approach. Now, we wanted to implement the scripts feature for a long time, but it seemed like it had to be through an agent. That's how everyone else achieves it, and we found a way to do it through the MDM spec. So we're excited about that because our customers can say, hey, we trust Apple more than, I wish they trusted me, and I hope they do, but we trust Apple for privacy more than some third-party vendor.
Okay.
And we also like the idea of not installing something on the machine that
Just a lighter footprint.
what if it has a bug
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that? So that's the route we took. So to dive right in here, effectively with scripts, you can upload a script, and it can be a Bash script. It could be Ruby. Python's really popular in our community. I created one right here that I'm not going to open source it because I think it's pretty cool and I could,
Make some
we can
money
make
off
some
this
money
one.
off
We
this
got to show everybody.
It's called What Time Is It? And we run the uptime command.
I was hoping we'd do Hello World, but
Well, I mean, we could do that. Let's see.
no, this is perfect.
Let's be gentlemen. Say hello before we, ask for some processing power. So, hello, world. Is there a comma? Hello?
I don't know how many people.
Hello, world.
Hello, world.
Yeah. So, so that's going to be our script.
Okay.
And then from a script, you create a job which says, I have a particular script that I want to run on a particular number of devices. And let's do that now. So we're going to do our what time is it script. And let's send it out just to make sure that we get everything. Let's just select every enrolled Mac OS device.
Okay, and just to be sure, this works. Scripts work on Mac OS only, or
Just Mac OS.
Okay.
So iOS is a much more locked down environment.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no idea of like a shell.
Okay, fair enough.
So we're going to run this. We're going to get a big scary warning that says, "Hey, if you did a delete your hard drive command here,
It's going to do it.
We're going to run it." Yeah. So this is on you. Don't.
you sure?
Yeah. So now we have this script that's got a job for it. We keep track of some basic information like who started it, how many devices were involved, what did the script look like at the time that it was run, in case it's edited later and we need some sort of
So you have some
ability to look
history.
back.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
And then this will basically show the status of these devices if they've run it. So I think this is the right command for Windows.
There you go.
So it looks like it's still running.
Excellent.
But what's cool about this, besides that it can just run a script, is that whatever the script outputs will return to SimpleMDM. So if you're actually trying to get some information like, what time is it? I don't have a watch. I have no idea. I got to run a script on, Tammy's notebook. You can send it down this way and get the feedback.
Okay.
So it's really like a two-way street.
Excellent. Get some feedback. That's awesome.
These devices are all sitting up upstairs.
In our
and
lab
may
upstairs.
not be on right now, so we'll see. But
Well, let's while we're waiting, let's take some questions.
yeah, great.
Okay. Kelly, are there a ton of questions?
Oh, there's plenty.
Oh, there's plenty.
Oh, there's plenty.
I feel relieved because the expert's right there. So,
I was running out of things to talk about. Yeah,
Are you
let's
ready
do
for
it.
this? Okay.
All right. Hey guys, can SimpleMDM manage other computer certificates for Macs and Windows computers? Sincerely, hey Mickey. Hey Mickey.
We can't. I like that. Can we do that for me after the show?
Sure.
Hey, Taylor. Okay.
Hey Taylor.
Yes, so we can push out certificates to Macs. SimpleMDM is Apple only, so we don't do Windows, but absolutely. Certificates for either just like a root certificate type trust situation, or if it's a client certificate for maybe getting onto a Wi-Fi network.
Excellent. I have nothing to add to that.
Yeah.
Should we keep score?
No.
Do you want to talk about your certificates for a moment? I saw some of your certificates on the walk-in. And
Yeah, well.
Hey gentlemen, can SimpleMDM manage Android and iOS, or is it just iOS? Thanks, Joe L.
it's just iOS, and when I say iOS, I think of iPad OS, TV OS, and then Mac OS. So anything Apple besides Apple Watches can't be managed by Apple. Doesn't allow it yet.
Why
but-
would you want to manage an Apple Watch, though?
Well, I don't know. It seems a little personal.
It's fun.
Off the top of my head, it seems a little personal.
Yeah.
They consider an Apple Watch a accessory. Yeah.
I would agree.
Yep.
And I think we kind of answered this one earlier. Does SimpleMDM require an additional license fee? Thank you, Alexander N.
Because you're going to answer so many of these, I'll take this one.
Okay.
It will. You are going. It's a separate subscription, so.
Yep.
I did pretty good on that.
That
answering
was
that?
great,
Okay.
actually. In the Apple MDM space, everything's done by device.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what's standard for the industry.
This one could go to Lex. Hey, will the cloud expertise of the SimpleMDM staff be tapped to make a cloud client for PDQ possible? Philippe C.
I would say, why would we not
tap
work
that
with
expertise.
guys who've been doing this already. Yes, we are definitely working, with Taylor and his crew. So
Yeah, it's been super fun to kind of see the knowledge transfer between the two teams so far.
very true, very true.
Gentlemen, what is the education price for SimpleMDM? Don G.
Well, we don't have education-specific pricing. Some MDMs do, but we found that to deliver the best service, the best support, the customers that we work best with are just ones that go on our standard pricing.
So to that point, right? I mean, you were saying like you have a monthly fee, or you can buy yearly, and there is a discount to buy yearly, right? It's like instead of $3 a device,
It's down to $30 a year, so $250 a month.
So you're going to save some money that way if you go yearly.
Yeah. There's a few angles that aren't, I guess, industry specific. And if you've got a lot of devices, I think our current pricing. I mean, don't quote me on this. This isn't an official
Maybe
forum,
we
right?
say talk to us. Give us a call. We'll
talk to us. But I think
negotiate.
like 2,500 and up is where it starts. You start seeing some volume discounts.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Lex and Taylor, how will existing customers of both products be handled? Any consideration for us awesome folks that already use both PDQ and SimpleMDM? Nathan C.
Well, I am sending you a hug right now, digitally. Now, if you want something better than that, handled
It's
well.
above my pay grade. I'm not exactly sure.
I got to tell you,
plans
it's
there.
you've already got the expertise in both. I mean, that's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a high five at this point. I don't think we've really talked about that.
I don't think we've gotten around to that. We've been drinking a lot, to be
That
honest.
is a good point.
You'll be happy to know he accepted the hug.
Did he take the hug? Okay.
accepted.
Boom.
It's a
Thank
big
you,
mistake, Nathan.
But I think the reason that PDQ.com and I know the reason that SimpleMDM joined PDQ.com is that our customer base and the way that we view community is so similar, and product development as well, that it just made sense.
Yeah, well,
No one was getting blindsided. No customers were left out to dry.
Yeah, very true. What else we got, Kelly?
All right. Hey, Taylor, can you show how to connect to Apple Business Manager? Thank you. High Res 2.
I can show a certain extent of it. I don't have an Apple Business Manager account ready to go for testing, but you would effectively go into this enrollment section here. And because Apple Business Manager is ultimately a way that you purchase devices, they show up in Apple Business Manager, and then the connection between Apple Business Manager and SimpleMDM is how SimpleMDM becomes aware that these devices have been purchased, configures them ahead of time, so when you unbox them the first time, they're ready to go. So you'd go in here and you would say, hey, I want to do an automated enrollment. It used to be called DEP by Apple, Device Enrollment Program, and they've changed that, but the nomenclature is still widely understood, so we use DEP as well. And effectively what you do here is you go to Apple Business Manager, you get a certificate that's sort of like a password, and you give it to SimpleMDM. SimpleMDM then generates another certificate that gives back to Apple Business Manager, and they have this relationship then where they can talk. And from there, you effectively can see all the devices that are enrolled. You can say, I want them to join maybe this device group, or I want their setup assistant, which is the first few screens you see when you turn on a machine, to, we're going to skip maybe 15 of the 20 screens. You can do all that. Let's see if, actually we have one set up already here. So you can see we have a few devices, serial numbers. We know, what color they are. We can get an idea of what's actually showing up. And then under DEP settings, this is where we can affect what panes we see, the setup assistant. You can even do things like set up an admin account in the background with a common username and password, or an auto-generated one if you want.
Is it like a good best practice? Because I can just imagine always wanting to be able to, at some point, if you need to, be able to get in the background as IT to fix problems, clear problems, take care of machines that just need a little TLC.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know if I would say something as strongly as it's a best practice. It really depends upon your company.
Okay.
However, I would say that if you're going to do a shared account like that, then having an auto-generated password, not a shared secret, would be a best practice, because shared secrets get passed around.
Well, they are shared.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if we just jump through here, there's a few other settings that are kind of fun. If you want to really show off your IT prowess to your employees, you can have a welcome screen. Let's see what they have set up.
So
they
on
have
mine,
set
you
up
could have it say, have Flanders going,
The animated GIFs work.
Oh, wow.
They are
okay.
supported.
That is very cool.
Some sort of welcome message. And then a fun one is if you want to authenticate with, let's see what they have set up. If you want to authenticate with maybe Google Workspace or Okta or something like that, you can do that. You can say this employee can open up this notebook, but they can't actually use it until they've authenticated with our identity provider. So you can get
very
very secure if you want to.
There's nothing wrong with security. In
Nothing
fact,
wrong with it.
The more security, the better.
Yep.
Very cool. What else we got, Kelly?
All right, more questions coming your way. Does SimpleMDM work alongside Intune? Sincerely, Lars, maybe the drummer from Metallica. Okay. I'm
thinking it is the drummer from Metallica.
Let's just say it is.
Okay.
Let's keep it simple.
Big fan, Lars. Big fan.
Yeah. I think work alongside can mean a lot of different things. So I don't want to answer this incorrectly, because that's when I get spanked after the show. But generally with the Apple ecosystem, a device can be enrolled in one MDM only.
Okay.
And Intune is an MDM by Microsoft. So you would choose to use one or the other. Now, maybe your Windows devices are on Intune and your Apple devices are on on SimpleMDM, but you wouldn't enroll it in both. Intune is not... Their focus is really much more on Windows. So we see plenty of customers that have Windows devices and Apple devices, and some of the Windows devices use Intune, whereas they move all their Apple devices to SimpleMDM, so they have a little more control.
Fair enough.
Dear Lex and Taylor, can you roll out the iOS Cisco Umbrella client with SimpleMDM? I'm under the impression Umbrella doesn't work with all MDMs. Thanks, Steve L.
So the only way to get software on an iOS device is through the App Store or as a custom app like we talked about. Cisco, in this case, would almost certainly be in the App Store, and so there would be no problem there. I'm wondering where the hang-up is with other MDMs. We support something called managed app configuration, and that's a way that using the Apple protocol, you can say, I want this app installed, but here's also a series of keys and values that I want sent down to the app that it will know how to interpret. Maybe it's like a username and password, some sort of enrollment code. And we do support that. So if this is supported by any MDMs, then it will be supported by SimpleMDM.
Good to know.
All right. Looks like we have a total of about 10 questions left. So we're going to go speed round on this.
So Taylor, speed round, just so you know, I've never been able to do this. We're trying to answer it in under a minute. I can't do it.
I was worried you were going to say 10 seconds.
Dude, I can't do it in a minute, but okay.
All right. Hey, guys, even though your name is SimpleMDM, would you consider your platform as more than an MDM, such as a UEM? Sincerely, the Hartford.
Which camera should I look at? That one? Yes.
Nailed it.
Yeah, so, when you start getting into things like our custom app store for Mac OS, which is Monkey, and some of the extra wrappings that we do for single sign-on, yes. But, MDM, UEM, they mean different things in different spaces. In the Mac OS space and the iOS space, I think they've been more marketing terms. So really the best thing is to get in there and try both the tools and see if it, does what you need it to do.
Yeah.
Hey guys, can Lost Mode be activated outside of mobile device data or Wi-Fi connection? Thanks, Tyler K.
It can be requested through SimpleMDM, but unless the device has some sort of connection to the outside world, it can't know if it needs to do something.
So if you were to, let's say you enable Lost Mode, it's not been connected. The first time it gets connected, it's going to get Lost Mode.
Exactly.
As soon as it hits the internet.
It's going to kick in. You're going to get a notice in the admin interface that it received the command, and it's going to be there. So when you queue commands, they will eventually get to the device. We understand that devices go offline for maybe months. The commands are still there, so when they get internet again, all those commands are going to hit.
All right, next question. Do we need licenses through Apple VPP to push to iOS apps? Michael Z.
They are not required. If you push out an app to an iOS device and you don't have licenses through Apple VPP, then your end user will be prompted to enter their Apple ID, specifically if it's a free app. If it's a paid app, they'll be asked to put in their Apple ID and then accept payment. Apple VPP is a much better way because the app will just install. The licensing is handled through you as an organization. The user doesn't have as many prompts to go through. But if it's not a possibility, there is a fallback.
Next question. Hey, Taylor and Lex, I saw you are able to wipe, but are you able to ping lost iPads? Sincerely, Chuck A.
So if you've lost an iPad, you can put into lost mode. We do also support the command to have it play a sound.
Can we show, how do we put something in lost mode?
Yeah, let's do it. Go to our devices, and let's find something that's been, let's do this iPad.
Just
So
so we're
last
clear,
thing 16 minutes ago.
Taylor was keeping to the speed round until Lex got involved.
See, and that's the thing. I can't do it, but it's so cool to watch how you do this because it's absolutely easy. Select a device, hit lost mode. Call me your mom.
Let's say, what is it?
8675309.
Oh,
Jenny,
Jenny,
come on,
yeah.
No, I like it. Enable lost mode.
you have more than one mom, you're like, was it Jenny? Was it Latanya? I'm not sure.
It could be, yeah.
Jenny was the name of the.
So that command will go out to this device, and we'll have to see how soon it kicks in. Okay, so it's already accepted it.
Lost mode, okay.
You can play a sound. It's just an awesome submarine ping going off in the office upstairs
we
right
just
now.
drive people nuts with that. Huh?
Yep.
I love it.
And then what's cool is this map feature down here. We do location tracking using our mobile app. But if you switch into lost mode, it'll just start using that as the data source, which is even more accurate.
Oh,
So you
wow,
don't have to worry about, I've got location for one app, but I got location for lost mode. It'll all be combined here.
So let's say I lost my iPad, and I'm like, I go to IT, I'm like, guys, I know it's in my house or at the office, I'm not sure which. You could lost mode and it would
That's probably the biggest use case. Yep.
tell me where it's at. Okay.
We deal with a lot of schools too, and students bring home iPads, and it's,
Oopsie, yeah.
where is it?
Yeah. See, we did that in under a minute.
I felt minute-ish.
Yeah, ish. I like
Ish.
the ish.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not be squares about time here, having a good time.
Maybe if you were watching the movie Interstellar and there was time dilation, that might work. But anyway, let's go on. Well, there are 6 questions left. Hey, guys, will information from PDQ and SimpleMDM ever be available in one merged location? E.g., I run a report on machines with outdated Chrome and get results from both systems. Thanks, Alexander N.
I would imagine.
This is kind of your call, right?
I would say that's probably a very possible thing. I mean, let me give you a date. It'll be done tomorrow. I'm just kidding, guys. This is new. We're working together.
It's our first month. We're haven't met each other's parents yet.
That's true. I would imagine this probably would be a feature in the future, but it's definitely a feature people want. So we have to look at it.
I have an idea on this one.
Yeah, Jordan.
Well, if you follow what our monitoring for the PDQ one we did, and we can use PowerShell on these products as long as they have an API, I think if it might be possible to use PowerShell on those to grab similar data, and at that point it's just writing to the same time series database.
Do you know what that sounds like? It sounds like Jordan's committing to make that happen.
I'm not committing.
Did you say time horizon?
There's a theory that I have that I'm looking forward to testing out.
Can we get McConaughey in here? I think this is a wormhole situation.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is.
already in here. He's right here.
All right, next question. Gentlemen, can you do home screen layouts on iPad so apps show up in the same position on pages on each device? James S.
Yep. So I've got the home screen layout configuration screen up here. Can we show the...
Yeah, swing it over, man. There we go.
Swing it over. So maybe you want a really minimal interface. I'm just going to do something.
We need to make sure FaceTime or Facebook or
Photo booth.
What is that? Social, whatever it is. Yeah, photo booth. Thank you. That works.
Let's do the influencer special. So we'll have that, FaceTime, and clips, and then down at the bottom, let's be taking care of our health. Now, when you save this and you apply it to a fleet of devices, assuming those apps are installed, that's exactly what you'll see.
They're going to sit like that. They'll adjust things. And
Yep, exactly. And then all the other apps will show up on separate screens. So you can have kind of a simplified interface if you want to.
Nice.
Yep. This one with the home screen or the like a background image or a lock screen image get used together a lot for demo situations. Or,
Lock screen, so we could put my face like
exactly.
on there, and
Yep.
people would be like, ah.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, all right.
All right, 4 questions left. Some of these will go right to Lex, I'm sure.
Uh-oh.
Hey guys, this alliance seems to be great for Macs, and it has a cloud offsite component for them. We still need an offsite no VPN solution for Windows for compliance reasons. Any announcements coming?
Nate, I tackled Jaron in the hallway. I'm like, dude, what can I say? What can I say? And he's like, dude, the rubber's hitting the road. Rubber's hitting the road, guys. Okay, we hear you. We're working it. I'm gonna leave it at that at this point. So I'm excited. I'm very excited.
All right, next question. Gentlemen, especially Lex, how can I update MS Store apps from PDQ or PowerShell? David N.
Microsoft Store apps, Jordan. That's PowerShell. I would go with PowerShell on that. So I'm gonna defer to you, buddy.
So PowerShell can't do it by default from the store apps, but if you click the Get option from the store apps, it sends a AppX package basically, which is a PowerShell command. So you could use something like invoke web request, where you go to that web page, you pull down the AppX package, and then with deploy, include the AppX with the install-AppX package with the path to that AppX, and make sure to do -register. And that should be able to mass install that from the store.
You know, it's cool that I knew he could answer that.
I like that. Like
I
the voice from above.
I get credit from his,
The
for his
voice
answer.
from above.
Okay, 2 questions left. Gentlemen, is there a way to see what active deployment a client has running? Second, do you have a pre-made package to clear the Chrome cache? I guess 3 questions because that included 2. Thank you, Russell K.
Is that for? Who's that for?
Well, I guess
think
it could be
that's-
both of us.
Could be.
Okay,
Either.
pre-made package to clear Chrome cache. We don't have a pre-made package at PDQ to clear the Chrome cache. I would, and Jordan, can we clear cache through PowerShell on Chrome? Or, for Chrome with PowerShell?
It's nothing I've tested, but I would assume it's possible.
Never tried
But
it.
if we can do it with PowerShell, then you could do it with the script function in MDM to clear the cache. But I can't give a definitive you can. I haven't looked into it.
In SimpleMDM, you could run a script, I suppose, but I keep an ear to support, and I don't think that's ever been a concern in the Mac OS world. So
Nobody's asked yet.
that might have been more of a PDQ realm question.
Okay.
And our final question of the day, dear Lex and Taylor, I've been thinking about becoming a consultant. Will PDQ venture back into remote agents? If I could keep track of remote clients the same way I can a domain, that would be amazing. Thank you, sysadmin.
You know, I got to say this, working with Taylor and his crew and their SaaS model and the cloud model, I just think it's a natural progression. It's where we're going to be heading. So, stay tuned. It'll be amazing.
Yep. I mean, SimpleMDM, we work with a ton of outsourced consultants like that, and we're really mobile first, internet first. So the idea of being on a LAN or not doesn't enter the picture, and it'll be fun to work together on that.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right, we'll wrap it up, guys.
Well, I got to tell you, Taylor, I'm excited. I played a little bit. I've enjoyed what I've seen. It is truly easy. Just kind of walk through it and play. So I would highly suggest, guys, if you want to try it, right, Taylor, where do they go to get a demo of this?
SimpleMDM.com, top right corner, there's a start a trial button, and you're up in about 2 minutes. We don't require a credit card. We just need your email address and a password to sign in. No nonsense, and you've got a full access account.
And again, just start playing, guys. And if you want to play hard, test it on everybody. Just kidding. Test it on a few. Make sure you get it going the way you want it to. Taylor, thank you again. I'm Lex from PDQ.
I'm Taylor from SimpleMDM. Thanks for having me, Lex.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for watching.
All right.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, David N. and James S., winners of PDQ swag. Please send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.